Hello friends and Assalamu alaikum. This is the greeting in Islam, peace be with you. Today we are going to talk about the effect of Muslim votes on the recent United States elections. It's an interesting analysis, so I thought you might enjoy it. I've seen many analyses, a lot of analysis going on. Lots of pundits are talking about from their perspective, their angle. However, I thought I had a little unique angle because I've been watching and actively participating in American politics for the last 35 years. So I thought I might give you my perspective. So my perspective is going to be very data driven. I'm actually going to go to just few states, but with the actual data, and I'm going to really share with you some interesting analysis which you might have not seen before. So for that, I would appreciate if you stick till the end of this video. It's going to be very short and very crisp. However, it's going to be very interesting, and I would appreciate if you subscribe, like, share, discuss, and give your comments because it's a mutual learning. Trump won this election with a big victory, but interestingly, he also won with about 3.7 million popular votes. And as we know that popular votes does not matter that much in the outcome, and one could win popular vote and still lose. However, he also won 312 seats so far. So basically, he won in certain states with a very thin margin, and that is a very interesting scenario. So as you know, Trump made a lot of effort going to Muslim population, especially in Michigan, but I think it's not very well understood that where do Muslims live in the United States and what are the important factors for them, and how did Trump at the 11th hour connected with that population. And that really was a big secret which Harris campaign absolutely did not care. Again, they were betting on the other side, and they really didn't analyze this way, that when you are living in very divided society where people are 50-50 on different issues, and then small minority could really make the decision. So I'm going to share with you a few states which you may have not looked into before. So as you know that Trump went into Michigan and he actually changed his mind or his view on the Middle East war. Even though in the beginning he had a different view where he was saying that Bibi Netanyahu should really finish the job without really looking into it. I think one of Trump's failure is that he basically make his mind based on popularity without really doing all the detailed research. But one of the good thing he has, what I have learned over the years, that when he really knows the truth, then he really has no problem changing his mind. And that is really a big leadership discipline one should have. That hey, you believe what you believe, but if you really get to know information otherwise, then you have no shame in changing your view and accepting your mistake. That is really, in my opinion, strength in leadership, that you accept your fault. Some leaders openly accept it and some people don't accept it, but they change their way. So Trump, in my humble opinion, changed his way, and that's the reason we should not give up. I salute all those Muslim leaders, especially the religious leaders, who actually did not give up or shy away, and they basically saw one track record, and that track record was that Trump is really not for wars, and also he's not really for the deep state, and he's not for the status quo. In other words, he does not mind standing for the truth if he really knows it. So they really made an effort to educate him, and that really benefited them as well as Trump. How did it benefit? I'm just going to share with you. So let's go state by state. So before that, we are going to show you some footage of Trump meeting with the Muslim leaders.
As the president said, we just had a positive meeting with President Trump. We as Muslims stand with President Trump because he promises peace. He promises peace, not war. We are supporting Donald Trump because he promised to end war in the Middle East and Ukraine. The bloodshed has to stop all over the world, and I think this man can make that happen. I personally believe that God saved his life twice for a reason.
They came from all quarters, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American. Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment.
So that being said, without further ado, let me just share with you state by state that what really happened. Let's talk about Wisconsin. Not many people are talking about Wisconsin, but Wisconsin is top on my list because Wisconsin has 10 seats. And you know, Trump won only with 29,000 votes. Yes, Trump won only with about 29,000 votes. And what's the Muslim population in Wisconsin? About 70,000. 68,699 according to about a year-old data. And of course, this data is not as accurate as it could be. So I would say, give or take, that Trump won this election with 30,000 votes. And Wisconsin Muslim population is about 70,000 people. Now, 70,000 is not a big population, but it is a big population in a 30,000 margin race. And Wisconsin is pretty close to other Muslim population areas like Michigan and Chicago and all that. There is a lot of Muslim population pocket from Michigan all the way to Wisconsin. So that was a major effect in the race. Trump won 10 seats with just about 30,000 votes, and 70,000 Muslims live in that state. The next one, let's talk about Michigan. Everybody is talking about Michigan, and even Trump openly accepted, even before the election, he accepted that how his polls have changed because of his standing up with some leaders and Muslims openly endorsing Trump. We should also remember it's not just the Arab population. There are lots of also 1 million Pakistani Muslims live here. Then there are Bangladeshi Muslims. Then there are Indian Muslims. Then there are Muslims all across the globe. They are not just only from Middle East. And that's another very big misunderstanding people have. Trump is just the same as a common man like any other American who don't really pay attention to the Muslim values or Muslim votes and Muslim population. They don't realize that they are a big fabric of this nation, and they are all very highly qualified, and they love this country and they want to see the progress in this country. They value very highly the values in this country, and that's the reason they live in this country. However, they also value what's going on internationally, whether that is in Gaza, whether that is in the entire Palestine, whether that is in Ukraine, that is in Pakistan, whether that is in Kashmir, whether that is in anywhere in the Middle East, in Iran, in Iraq, in Saudi Arabia. They care everywhere, and unfortunately, most of the conflict has been in Muslim countries, so they are very negatively affected. And the United States is getting very, very negative press in these countries. So I honestly believe that what happened in this election, the first time Muslim voters were united and they were able to raise their voice. And unfortunately, sometimes calamities are better for you because calamities unite you and they give you importance. I honestly don't think from now on what has happened, and I'm going to share with you, you will ever be able to ignore this population. Because this population not only decided in Michigan, it's a wrong myth that this population only have deciding the election in Michigan. That is not correct. This election really affected a lot of states, and especially the 6 states I'm going to talk about. So first we talk about Wisconsin, then Michigan. So in Michigan, Trump only won with 80,000 votes, 80,618. Whereas Muslim population in Michigan, how much is that? About 250,000. 241,000, give or take, about 250,000 population. And there are pockets, but pockets don't matter. When you are dealing with the total state, win or lose all, Trump won 15 seats. Because there's 241,000 Muslims openly supported Trump. So Trump won easily in Michigan, and that was a swing state. I honestly believe even Wisconsin is a swing state. I mean, you're winning with only 30,000 votes, 0.9%. Yes, 0.9% difference in votes. And of course, it's a swing state then, less than 1%. In Michigan, he won with 1.4%. And he openly admitted that's because of Muslim votes. That's 15 seats. Next one, Georgia. Georgia, Trump won with 116,000 votes. And what is the Muslim population? 123,000. I'm not saying all 123,000 people went and voted, but you can check the statistics that minorities vote with a higher percentage, and especially Muslims have been voting about 70 to 80% going out and voting. And they usually vote in a block. And especially with the endorsement openly from Muslims and from Pakistani Americans, that really made a major effect. And by the way, a lot of these people are employers. They're not just employees, they're employers. They have their own companies, they're entrepreneurs. They're very affluent and very educated. And do you think they do not impact the other part of the society? You would be totally wrong if they would not be educating. What happened in Gaza and all what's happening around the world, all these educated people have been able to educate others. When they go out and they were standing in rain and shine against the war, you think that did not impact the society? Of course it did. Americans are very truthful and truth-seeking people. So they care about what's going on in the world. So that really impacted there too. So Georgia is the third state which Trump won with only 116,000 votes margin, which comes out to be only 2.1% lead from Harris, and the Muslim population there is 123,000. Georgia is not a small state. It has 16 seats, 16 electoral votes. And then a very big win, Pennsylvania. Trump won with 145,000 votes, which basically equates to 2.1% again. Trump won with 145,000 votes. In Pennsylvania, Muslim population is 149,000. And by the way, Muslims do lack in a united leadership, but then whatever the imams say, whether that imam is in Michigan or whether that imam is in Massachusetts or Pennsylvania, doesn't matter. They do look at some pious people standing up and talking about their issues, and especially what's going on in Gaza, and especially Pakistani Americans and Muslims in general going out endorsing Trump. That made a big change in Muslim voters all across the United States. So in Pennsylvania, Trump won with 145,000 votes, and Muslim population is about 150,000. That is 19 electoral votes. Then North Carolina. Let's talk about North Carolina. These are swing states. And in North Carolina, Trump won with only 189,000 votes, 189,311. And what's the Muslim population? Muslim population there is about 131,000. Now again, these are not 100% accurate. I believe the population is higher, but I'm only taking a very conservative approach. So that means more than half of the votes came from Muslim population in his win. And like I said, these are entrepreneurs, these are affluent people, educated people, they are professors, they are entrepreneurs, they are company owners. You think they are not impacting their friends, their families, and others? And then in North Carolina, just like we said, that Muslim voters are 130,000 and Trump won with 189,000. And that again made a major effect, and that is 16 electoral votes. So what is the total impact? The total impact of these, and I'm not talking about other states, Muslims live in other states too. There's about 5 million Muslims in the United States, whereas Trump had an overall popular vote lead of about 3.7 million. So that should tell you something. So in a country where you can win or lose with 1 to 2 or 3% margin, 1 to 2% population of a minority make a huge difference, and especially if that minority has a major burning issue going on like Gaza, and especially they are hurt and they feel they are neglected over the years. Now you tell me, I'm not even going to talk about other states, which candidate in near future will ever be able to neglect this community? It's not possible. I tell you, I ran for selectman in Massachusetts, and even though I didn't win, but I got the second highest vote. And when you get the second highest vote, people don't see you as a small minority. They see you that you can make an impact, and what impact you can make. And that's exactly what's going to happen here, that with your votes, you are going to make a major impact and nobody could really ignore you. The same thing is true for Pakistan. So again, Pakistanis are, of course, 20 to 25% of total Muslim population. And then they also have very, very heavy linkage with the entire Muslim population. A lot of mosques are run by Pakistani leadership. And these guys also openly endorse Trump. And because they are also hurt both because of Gaza, because what's going on in the world overall, because they are very anti-war people, but they are also mostly hurt because Imran Khan is put in jail. And they believe that he is put in jail because Biden's administration's support to army regime really oppressed the entire population in Pakistan. And there's a lot of negativity going on, and Trump had a good affiliation with Imran Khan, and they believe that Trump coming to power would also be supporting or neutralizing that support, first of all, with army regime. And if anything, he would basically be against that and non-democratic force. And Trump knows that he needs some kind of control in Afghanistan, resources, and also understanding and impact and interlinkage between China and Russia and Iran and India and Saudi Arabia. All these countries are right there. And Pakistan was a very big alliance, especially Imran Khan and Trump had a very, very good alliance. Because Trump likes smart, popular people like Imran Khan. He doesn't like to get into wars. He likes to resolve issues as a businessman. And that's what Imran Khan liked to do. So I believe that with Trump winning with the support of Muslims and Pakistanis, it is impossible for him to ignore, not put friendship aside, put education aside, just take politics, just for the sake of his own politics and the politics of the Republican Party. It is impossible to ignore this vote and not listen to this community and be fair. The community is not looking for that you take one side. The community is all looking for is stop the war, maybe even a two-nation solution there. And also in Pakistan, all the human atrocities and peace and justice, call for peace and justice is just not there. It's just a lot of unfairness going on, and these communities deserve to be heard, and these communities stood up. And I believe if you stand up, then you make your voice heard, and that is the democratic process. And so I salute those communities who stand up for human rights, who stand up for peace, and who stand up for themselves. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody's going to stand up for you. So this is exactly what happened, that you stood up and you raised your voice, and you are going to keep making headway. And this was just the beginning. This was the beginning. Sometimes not only successes really make you look good. Matter of fact, you learn more in difficulties, and this make you a better leader, because you cannot make, it's like a weight training. You cannot build muscles unless you put all the hurdles. So you got hurdles, and then you should thank God that because of these hurdles, you were able to realize your value, you were able to unite, and you were able to stand up for your democratic right democratically. This is the way to go, move forward. May God bless you. Peace be with you.